Hello, ladies, and welcome to our Thrive Thursday Masterclass. Today is October 17th, and I'm so excited to have Whitney Korbin here with us today. She's a dating and relationship expert. When I say expert, I mean like she knows everything about dating and relationships. She calls herself the love coach. So, Whitney, we are so excited to hear from you today because no matter if we're in a marriage or if we're looking for that right person, we can always use advice on love. So take
Yes,
it away. I'm excited to hear from you today.
thank you so much, Colleen. So, I would like to start by telling a little bit about myself and my story, how I got here, and then I will be talking about some of the things that I do and some of the people that I help, because I think a lot of people are not very familiar with a love coach, right? We know what a life coach is, we know what a business coach is, but most of us don't realize that we need help in our love life or that there is help out there for us. So my story begins back when I was in middle school, and I realized that what I wanted to be when I grew up was a therapist, a counselor. So I studied psychology, and when I was 23 years old, though, I kind of had this epiphany that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can try to help someone change, but if they don't want to change, they're not going to. And I also thought at 23 years old, what life experience do I have to be helping other people? So I ended up changing my career trajectory, going into recruiting, talent acquisition for 13 years, gained a lot of life experience. I have a son who's now about to graduate from high school. So I struggled like heck in my 20s and a little even into my 30s in relationships and dating. I just had no clue. And how could I? No one ever taught me. And I realize this now because I do teach this to people, but where do we learn our skills in dating and relationships? Really, from two places mainly. One is our families. And let's just say that all of our families are at least a little dysfunctional, some more than others. But we learn how to handle our emotions, how to communicate, and how to be in relationships based on our upbringing and our families. And it's not always the best lesson. And sometimes it's like, do as I say, not as I do. But of course, we take on these habits that we see around us more than we take what people tell us to do. And then the other place where we learn our dating and relationship and communication skills is the media, TV and movies, which are actually designed to highlight comedy and tragedy. So we wonder why our love lives are full of tragedy and comedy. So it's so important that we learn this because we think that we intuitively should just know. And then we get really disappointed in ourselves when we don't already know exactly how to date, how to approach someone, how to keep the spark alive in your relationship. Relationships even go beyond our romantic partnerships into our relationships with our family, our parents, our siblings, our kids, even friendships. There's a lot of common pitfalls and traps in all of these relationships. And then our business relationships as well. So I struggled a lot, but around in my early 30s, I had really just gotten so frustrated with the endless cycle of trying to date, trying to find someone, trying to build a family and find my future husband. And I finally found this coach online. And this was so long ago that it wasn't an online program, but she would actually mail CDs to the house every month. So every month I would get a new recording that I would listen to. And I just started to learn so much that no one ever taught me, especially about masculine and feminine energies. I don't know about you, but for me, growing up, I was never taught about the differences. It was always women can do anything a man can do, women are, there is no difference. It was like, it's one thing that we want to be feminists and we want equal rights between men and women. I'm a feminist. I hope you are. I hope we all are. We want equal rights, but it doesn't mean that we think the same and act the same and are the same. And especially when it comes to our personal lives, our emotional lives, our love lives, outside of work, outside of the public eye, we have these differences. And in our relationships, I find that, I know I did this, and so many people do this. We try to eliminate all the differences. We try to compete with each other and fight over who's better at certain things. And it's not a competition. And it actually works better to highlight your differences because this is how we create attraction. So masculine and feminine energy are opposite ends of the spectrum, both important, both powerful, but because they're opposite poles, it creates this magnetic polarity. And so, one of the things that can happen in relationships is in the beginning, there is this defined masculine and feminine. And by the way, this isn't just about male and female, right? This happens in all romantic relationships, even same sex or queer. There's always something that's more in the masculine role, more of the leader, the decision maker, the one that makes you feel safe and protected. And then one partner who's more of the feminine partner who really brings the vibe and the atmosphere and the emotionality and many other things, filling the space, making the house a home, being a little more oriented to express emotionally. But when we have both parts, it really creates that magnetism in that pole. So often in relationships, we have that in the beginning, right? We go on dates, we get up, we're all excited, but then after a while, we're just hanging out together all the time and we're home all the time and we're not making those effort to make a distinction. So that's something that has really made a big difference in my life, just understanding it. And it's a lot more deep and complex than I ever realized. I know I had a lot of barriers, even limiting beliefs, to even be able to accept that my feminine was important and that it was powerful because it had been drilled into me so much that that wasn't the right way. And I remember being in my corporate job, like trying to, not be too feminine or not be, that way. But now I know that with our energy, we can ebb, we can flow, we can turn it on, we can turn it off, we can turn it up. And one of the things that is my favorite is to help people begin to read people's energy and understand their own energy and feel their energy, right? Most of us, when we hear the word energy, a lot of people just think about, well, how much energy do you have? Are you tired? Are you awake? Are you alert? Or are you not? And I like to think, and many of you will know this, you probably have worked in this field as well, but it might be new to some people that we actually have our energy that flows through our body and it can get stuck and it can get blocked and it can get opened in a lot of different ways. And when we are not educated about this and we don't know about it, it's all happening subconsciously. It is happening, it is having an effect on us, but we're not even aware. So once we become more trained in knowing how to adjust our energy, how to feel our energy, how to move it, how to open or close it, it's like having a superpower, especially when it comes to dating. I've had so many clients that say, wow, people are just responding to me differently. Like I don't feel like I'm doing anything differently. And yet I'm getting all these people coming up to me. They're talking to me. They're commenting on my glow, my energy, my radiance. Someone told me most guys don't even use those words, but that's what I keep hearing. So fast forward a little more in my story. So I started to really learn about these different factors that I had no clue about. And it really helped me. I ended up attracting my future husband, and we got married when my son was about 5. So it was really lovely to finally have that person, that stability, to be able to build a family. But unfortunately, that got cut short. And my husband passed away in 2017, actually 7 years ago this weekend. So that just completely changed my life and really has been such, I mean, out of the worst tragedies come silver linings. And although I never asked for this, I never knew that this was where I wanted to go, it did kind of kick me in the butt and make me realize I don't want to go back to this corporate job and spend all of my time and energy and my days working for someone else. I want to do something with more purpose, with more heart, something that feels more aligned with what I offer and my gifts and who I am. So that was at first being a matchmaker. So I worked with a company called Talkify, and I set people up on dates. And it was really pretty fun. And I have clients now that are married that I had set up, 5, 6 years ago. But I also had clients that I could set them up again and again with exactly what they say they're looking for, and it wasn't working out. So I got really curious about what was going on under the surface. And that's when I did my coaching certification and started coaching my clients, really helping them not only get clear on what they want in a person, in a relationship, but also realizing who they want to be, getting to know themselves better, getting to really love themselves and practice self-compassion, learn to self-soothe, take us out of stress. Because I'll tell you, even people that are pretty zen, it's often our dating life and our relationships that will push us past our breaking point. And even if you're not a stressed, anxious person, which a lot of us are, but even if you're not, a lot of times this is a stressor, right? We can get so triggered based on our past emotional hurts and pains, and by people that we love. So that coaching transitioned into, I'm no longer working as a matchmaker, but I work with a matchmaking company, but I'm the coach. So I have now an app. And so this presentation is called How to Have a Love Coach in Your Pocket. So as a love coach, I have a certain program called Dating Done Right, where I help single women to date better, to know themselves, to break through their habits, to know what to look for in guys, to know how to communicate, how to banter, how to be lighthearted and playful and attract the best kind of guys and attention and have fun with dating. If someone is dating and it feels like a chore and a job and they hate it, they're doing it wrong. It needs to be fun, or else it's just not worth it. And a lot of the women I work with are very successful, attractive, like have the whole package. And so it doesn't make sense for them to just go online and talk to everyone that's out there, because online dating can be very random, kind of like just going to your local 7-Eleven and being like, hello, is anyone single in here? It's just, they're so random. So I recommend a different kind of approach for people who are really, know what they want, have success under their belt. They're not 21 years old anymore, going to bars. We need a new way to do this. And so, yes, I do teach how to use online dating effectively. It can work, but it's just one way. I also teach people how to meet people in person and give a lot of tips about where to go, what kind of events to sign up for. You'd be surprised how many single women spend all their time with women. They're in women's networking groups and women's circles and women's whatever. And okay, that's great and it's fun and we should have our women time. But if you want a man, you have to actually meet men and be out there. So you want to think about, where do they hang out? where can I meet the kind of guy that I want to be with, right? If you love boating, go to a boat show and talk to people. If you like guys that smoke cigars, go to a cigar bar. If you like vegans, go hang out at your local vegan restaurant. Like, there's just so much out there, and I get it. People get overwhelmed. People have a lot on their plate. You've been hurt before, you've been disappointed before. And so, a big part of what I do also as a love coach is I keep you inspired, I keep you motivated. I mean, you keep yourself motivated, but I'm there to really help and push and encourage all along the way. We map out a strategy, but then all along the way, every bump that comes up, every hiccup, every triggering moment, every time that someone rejects you, like whatever happens, we work through that. We work through that mentally, emotionally, physically, and energetically. So I actually have been trained in somatic therapy treatments to help people really get to the root of these problems, and not just put a band-aid on it. You know, if the excuse is I just haven't met my person yet, there's probably more going on under the story. And I don't want anyone to feel bad about themselves for that, because it's normal, it's expected. We didn't really learn very well how to do this. So I just talked a lot about this program, Dating Done Right, for single women, but I also do one-on-one coaching. So I've worked with men, women, gay, straight. I've helped people find love. I've helped people leave love. A lot of times, when you don't know what to do in a relationship, right? Should I stay? Should I go? Is it worth it? Are we doing this? And you know that you have to do the work, but what is the work? And that's where I can help. I can help you do the work that needs to be done to really know yourself, to really get to the root of why you get triggered and how to communicate in better ways, how to stand up for yourself. Maybe you're a people pleaser, maybe you don't communicate enough. Whatever that is, it's worth getting help. And so I just want to share my screen because I'm so excited about this. So this is what my mobile app looks like. Yay! So this is Love Coach in my pocket. It's available on all the app stores, Apple, Android. And you could see there are different courses here. I talked about Dating Done Right. There's some free content. So it's a great place to go and learn how to communicate better. There's a webinar program about self-love. I have a couple of other programs. My self-love program is amazing. If you're somebody that is maybe already in a relationship or just not worried about a relationship, your relationship with yourself is the number one most important relationship in your life. You're the only person that you're going to be with from your birthday to your death day. And so many of us really don't have a great relationship. It might be good in good times, but how do you talk to yourself in the bad times? When you're disappointed, when you make a mistake, when you feel rejected or down, those are the make or break moments, right? It's the same as in a regular relationship. If you're with a guy who's great 95% of the time, but he only hits you every once in a while, that's still an abusive relationship. And yet we do this to ourselves. We abuse ourselves so often. And so this is a 6-week course where you can just do a little bit every day. And I actually have it available right now for $37 for the whole 6-week course. You can take it on your own. And it has really been so well received. And I've had so many comments about people just saying that it's changed their life, that they feel joy unlike anything that they were feeling before. If you are trying to live a sober life, this is great because underneath the addiction is very often a poor relationship with ourselves. And when we can really learn to love and accept ourselves and self-soothe, we can often get a lot of support in getting over those coping mechanisms that we've been relying on. I have embodiment guided programs and workouts and meditations in the app. And the Upward Spiral is a new program that I'm about to launch, mostly for clients that I've already worked with, that have already done some work with me. But this one really goes deep in clearing our past hurts and pains from our childhood, from our past relationships. And we work on each chakra individually, starting with the first one, going up, because we really need that solid foundation in this world. And whether you are very familiar with the chakras or whether that's a word that you don't have in your vocabulary, it doesn't matter, because the experience is the same. Whether you have a background in it or an understanding in it, going through that experience is something that I've done with a lot of different people with different backgrounds, and they all kind of say the same thing, that they feel lighter, that they feel opened and unblocked. So if you are having in any area of your life where you're just feeling really stuck and blocked and fear is there, I would love to talk to you, offer you a complimentary session so you can experience it, because it is kind of hard to explain what we do. There's tapping involved, there's music involved. It's multidimensional. So it's not just like talk therapy. Actually, none of what I do is like just talk to me and how do you feel about that and call me later. It's very much an experience, a somatic, full body, full attention, integrated experience. All right, so this is the app, Love Coach in My Pocket. I am also just about to launch the podcast, Love Coach in My Pocket podcast, which will have 3 different kinds of episodes. One will be where I am teaching or talking about a particular topic, just giving valuable information. Another will be experts in the field, like conscious sensuality or other topics where I might not be the expert, but I bring in other experts. And then a third kind of podcast is I want to hear regular people's stories. Everybody has a love story or a lesson learned. So I'm interested in balancing that out, not only feeling like you're getting lectured by the experts, but also that there are people that you can relate to. So I'll be opening up, looking for some guests. So if you're listening to this and you're interested in being a guest on the Love Coach in My Pocket podcast and have some sort of love story or love lesson learned, I would love to speak with you. And I would love to have you follow me on YouTube also. Just look for Whitney Korbin. I'm the only Whitney Korbin out there. It's a really unique, uncommon last name, and there's just no other Whitney Kobrins out there. So any place you look for me on LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, you will find me. So I'm curious if anyone has any questions. I know I talked a bit about dating and maybe you're married, but if there are any specific questions, I'd love to go into more depth.
I would love to ask a question. So, the question I would have, Whitney, is would the dating done right be something that could be applicable to a couple that's in a marriage already and maybe they've lost that spark or that flame? What in the app would be good possibly for a couple that is already married?
So in the app, I have programs that are really geared towards women. So it's not really a program for men or for the couples, but I would do individual coaching with them. So I would still draw upon a lot of the same resources and things that I teach, but I would customize it and tailor it to fit each individual or couple's needs because yeah, we'd have to do an assessment first, get to know you a little bit, and figure out what is the challenge here. And
Yeah.
often it's not what you think at first, but through through the
Right.
questioning, we'll find out what that those primary root causes are.
That makes total sense. And Whitney, thank you so much for being here and presenting that to us today. Anyone that has questions, please do me a favor and put that below, whether it's in Facebook, whether it's in YouTube. This is a great way to put your question, and then Whitney and I can answer your question for you and lead you down to the right path, especially if you are looking for that special person and haven't found them yet. And of course, if you are like, how do I teach a masterclass like this with you, Colleen Biggs? All you have to do is become a member of the Leap community, and we'll have all of that information below as well in the chat section. So you can become a member of the Leap community. You could be hosted on a regular basis where you get to reach more people with your goodness through your masterclasses, where you teach us more about what you do and also giving us tips on how we can lead a better life, a happier life, a more loving life, right? As Whitney would say as a love coach, and also how you can grow your business. This is about love and relationships and business and success and money. Those are the topics that we discuss here on YouTube as well as in Facebook for all of the ladies that we invite to have a masterclass. Of course, you need to be a member of the Elite community to be able to do that. So Whitney, thank you so much for being here with us today. We absolutely loved your presentation. Everyone go out there and download the app. She gave you all the information for the app. We'll make sure we drop the link for the app, and we'll see you next time. So bye-bye for now.